You know, I bet I can guess what's on your mind.
Bet you can't. Bet you can't. Bet you can't. Bet you can't.
You know, I bet I can guess what's on your mind.
Bet you can't.
Welcome back again.
Welcome back.
If you're listening to the recorded version later on iTunes or something, we had some tech difficulties, but we're back. Thank you, Trudy. Thank you, Bob Getlin, for letting us know you couldn't hear us. That's why, because the soundboard here kept having this red thing pop up, and I was like, why is the mic going out? We fixed it. Listen, you know, we're comedians. We're not tech people. But anyway, guys.
Well, that's not true. You do a really good job with tech. Just sometimes tech is literally tech, and robots have their own fun.
I've been teaching myself a lot. Listen, if this pandemic has taught me anything, it's build up your skill set because you never know when your job's going to go away, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, real quick, guys, this is House Ruled Pod. Let's start that over.
It's okay. There's no rush. Everybody will join us. Don't worry about it.
This is House Rules Podcast. I'm Alex Getlin.
I'm Rachel LaForce.
And if you're tuning back from a previous episode, there you listen. Thank you for coming back and seeing us again. If this is your first time here, we are comedians.
We are engaged.
We do this every week.
At 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern.
And yeah, this is our podcast, and it's very exciting. I'm glad you're here with us.
Yeah. So we do this live every Monday, and if you're like, Mondays, I work, if you are in that luxury spot to still be working.
Yeah. Amen to you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Anyway, we take these, we record it, we edit them, we zhuzh them, we make them nice, and we throw them up on YouTube and Facebook. We'll cut them down into clips. So there's all sorts of fun stuff for you to procrastinate on doing other work and watch ours.
And I know we've got some folks watching on Instagram Live. Love it. Thank you. But just so you guys know, the best experience is if you do it via Facebook or YouTube Live. You can go to my Facebook page or Rachel's or Skewed Orbit. That's our production company's Facebook. The reason is because all the tech stuff where I can link up the music and the fun video graphics and stuff, Instagram doesn't let us do that, but I can do it on Facebook. So just an FYI for that. But anyway,
we're here.
We are here. So how do we start every episode, Rachel?
Guys, this is the week wrap up. I'm going to do a different joke than what I improvised the first time, which if you missed it, it was like, that's music that sounds like all the moms that got drunk on the Ozarks this weekend. Mm-hmm. And then what also came up for me is like, that reminded me of Brazil.
Oh, we were in Brazil almost a full year ago.
Almost a full year ago.
Yeah, we got us. We're not going to be back in LA for my brother and sister-in-law's anniversary.
I mean, it's a bummer, but I don't feel like they're going to be like,
I know, but it's
our first anniversary is ruined.
Yeah, but I was realizing like, it'd be so lovely to celebrate with them. That's all. We'll get them an anniversary gift on the road. But anyway, this is actually a pretty exciting week. We had a lot going on despite shelter in place and COVID and all of that. I did something that some people would say controversial this week.
I think many people would say it's controversial.
I went to the gym, guys. How do you feel about that? Now, I will say, to preface...
Yeah, don't be clickbait. Give us the full lowdown.
It was very safe. I'm in Georgia right now. And to be totally honest, I felt safer in the gym than I did at Costco or Trader Joe's or any of that stuff. There was basically nobody in there. Take our temperature before we're allowed inside. Tons of like social distancing. They blocked off. Like they made it so you couldn't do group activities like basketball. They moved half the cardio equipment to the basketball court and had it like marked off in like 6-foot sections. So, and from a personal like mental health and overall health place, I felt great about it.
Okay.
So I'm just saying that I'm not a scientist, obviously, but I hope that we continue to... Shut up, okay?
What? Shut up!
You go, shocker.
Oh, my gosh. What are we, 5 minutes in?
I'm sorry. Do you still want to marry me?
I don't know.
Okay. I hope I win you back by the end of the episode. My point is, I hope that the powers that be believe that and continue to find that gym social distancing is safe.
Sure, but again, we have to amend that with in places that already are more spread out and have less cases. So
100%,
to our friends that are watching from Hollywood, that is a completely Los Angeles as a whole and New York are totally different circumstances than more spread out areas like Marietta, Georgia.
Right. 100%.
So,
yeah.
So that's a lot of it as well, which is why we came down here to quarantine.
But you had an exciting week because you...
Guys, I got a bike.
Brand new bike.
Woo! She's a little Schwinn, and I'll tell you what, she rides like a dream. Calling her Black Betty.
Hold on, let's give a shout out to Sue Painter.
Shout out to Sue Painter.
Your mom.
Who, yes,
brought it all the way down from Cleveland.
Yep. And she, she came down and brought me this amazing Schwinn. Because you've been riding bikes a lot. I'm not a big bike rider.
Love it. Dude, I've been riding bikes hardcore since 2018.
That is the weirdest flex of all time. Dude, I straight up ride bikes.
Can I just talk
also, did you say since 2018? That's like businesses that they're like established in 2019.
Actually, I take it back. I think it was 2017.
Okay, well, yeah, that's a horse of a different color.
My point is, I rediscovered cycling later in life. I didn't really start getting on a bike till I, was 29 or 30. I forget exactly when. But my point is, I used to be like, biking, who cares? It's so relaxing. You think about today when you were going on the trail. It's
exercise that gets my heart rate up at the same way that running does, and it's not as bad on my knees. I don't know if I'm like, what a relaxing. My bum is just in stitches.
Yeah, you got a weak tush.
Got a weak tush. But Black Betty,
if anybody has any recommendations on how Rachel can build up her butt for cycling, because I'm fine with it. I don't.
You know what? That almost leads me into my next segment, which I don't want to get to quite yet.
Okay.
But yeah, I've got some thoughts on how to build up this tush.
Okay.
But so if you guys were listening, we've been talking about like the Silver Comet Trail and like you're obsessed, and it's like a 60-mile trail.
61.
61-mile trail here in Georgia, and it goes all the way from, I don't know where the trailhead is.
It's here in Marietta.
Okay, so trailhead's in Marietta.
Or it might be just south of Marietta. But
okay, so yeah. And then it goes all the way to Birmingham.
Alabama.
Different state.
In case people didn't know. And
crazy.
Actually, the Silver Comet Trail officially ends at the Georgia-Alabama state line, and then it's 30 more miles of some trail in Alabama. And it used to be a railroad track, so that was pretty cool.
Yep.
So...
Anyway, so Alex was like, couldn't stop talking about it. And I was like, I don't know. I guess we could get me a bike. Like, we could think about it, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, all right, no, I want to do it. I really want to get a bike. And
my favorite part, I hope this might embarrass you a bit, but it was great. I was proud of you. We're like going, there's a little bit of a hill and it was kind of difficult. And Rachel's like, I will fit in that wedding dress. I will fit in that wedding dress. I was like, all right, yeah, whatever your mantra is, girl, do it.
Well, also, I mean, all bodies are beautiful. But my body has for sure gotten comfortable with this quarantine 15,
yeah,
if you feel me.
Both, dude.
So bodies are beautiful. No matter what wedding dress I wear, it's going to be great. I'm beautiful. But certainly I'm going to feel better about dropping a little bit of this quarantine weight. So yes, that was my little engine that could.
Yeah. I'm proud of you. It was great. Anything else from the week that you want to mention? Well, I found something. Think about it, because I found something super cool, a little cheesy, but I think honestly it was like a fun internet find because there's so much nonsense on the internet right now, and I stumbled upon something that I just thought was kind of silly, and I want to share it. You know what I'm going to do right now?
Oh, that's not in one of the segments. This is just this. Oh, okay. I thought this was coming later. I didn't connect. Okay, go ahead.
In the show notes, either way. Okay.
Okay.
So, I love perusing on Facebook and finding silly stuff, and I stumbled across this thing where somebody put together at a press conference in Baltimore that the mayor put on. This rapper performed a social distance rap called Mask Up, and here's the video of it. I'm going to play the audio for you guys.
6 feet, that's what social distance means. Back up and practice social distancing. Mask up, cause I don't want your germs on me. I'ma need 6 feet and keep your mask on, please. 6 feet, that's what social distance means. Back up and practice social distancing. Mask up, cause I don't want your germs on me. I'ma need 6 feet and keep your mask on, please. 6 feet, back up, mask up, cause I don't want your germs on me. I'ma need 6 feet and keep your mask on, please.
Dude, I love that song.
We have not stopped singing it in our home.
Listen, I know it's silly, but
6 feet.
Practice social distancing.
6 feet.
Practice social distancing. Mask up.
I mean,
Anyway, so listen. So I was super into it because I was like, look, it actually is kind of fun, right? This woman put together this rap song, performed it at a press conference. My favorite part of that, by the way, I'm going to pull the video up again just so you guys can see it.
Well, it was my favorite part because I think you were so overwhelmed by just the fact that this video existed.
Because,
I do wait.
Okay, all right.
Because sometimes you steal this where I'll tell you something and then you ingrain it as fact of like a thing. You're like a baby penguin. So the woman in the background who's the interpreter, I mean, is living
Crushing
for this song. Like straight up, she's like, this is the best gig. Like it has to be one of the best gigs she's ever had, right?
Dude, what a fun job if you're signing, right?
Like,
so look, okay, so I thought that was pretty fun that I found the social distancing rap and I was like, oh, okay, like it happened.
6 feet.
Okay, all right. But here's the thing. So I was like, that's kind of fun that it's happening at like the Baltimore town hall. You know, it's all official, all that good stuff. Are you checking your...
I'm checking because sometimes we've got multiple people on different platforms. So I was wondering...
Let's focus on just the...
I know. Let's focus up, please.
Okay, but I wanted to show you, I made a discovery about
Wait,
this.
there's more?
Well,
Is she going to come on the show? That's what I want to know.
I would love that so much. And I honestly think we could reach out and get her on here. It wouldn't be too difficult, but check this. Read out this headline for the listeners.
Mask Up declared official Baltimore COVID-19 anthem.
Right? I mean, how great is that?
That is fantastic.
So it was I hope I pronounced this performer's name correctly. She goes by Alexis Chink Harris. It was written by Joe Inkwell, produced by Antonio Jones. And the Baltimore mayor, Jack Young. It's the official anthem, so...
I need to know everything about these people. Because I thought that I thought that Chink, this was like her thing. Right? So she was literally just hired. Like somebody else wrote this and was like, who are we going to get? Who is the perfect person to rap this? We can't just put this out there. This is the mayor's press conference.
Yeah, right.
And then somebody was like,
well, I thought she killed it.
She did great. Listen, I love everything about this. I love that we gave the opportunity to like make something that could be absolutely ridiculous. Like at least it's like, it's incredibly catchy.
That's
and
what
also,
I'm saying.
They hired a female. I'm totally on board with that. And then like the female interpreter. So, you know, I'm here for
Girl
all
power.
of it. I'm here for all of it.
I would love, like if I could have a useless superpower, like point my finger and a song starts playing. If people are like in like a close space with no mask, I'm like, hey, and then she's like, mask up, practice social distancing.
But the best part about it is it's the most elementary. Like it sounds like a song that you would use for teaching children.
Well, that's what I want to hit this person up and be like, hey, are you doing other PSAs? Like, you know, don't eat too much dessert, get enough sleep, buckle your seatbelt. Wouldn't that be awesome?
None of those were catchy tunes though.
But they could be if you wrote the hook properly.
Yeah.
We're not rappers.
Click
so.
your belt.
Okay. Well, anyway. No.
Just saying.
Okay. Anyway,
we did watch a lot of Little Dicky videos. Speaking of rappers.
Yeah.
We watched a lot of Little Dicky videos this week.
If you don't know Lil Dicky, very funny rapper.
Very funny.
His show Dave is on Hulu. But there's so much to get to this week. I don't want to get too bogged down on that.
Well, I want to go into my segment.
Please do.
This is a new segment that I came up with this week, and this is called Dude, My Bad.
Try to do an eclectic mix of songs, you know.
So I love this segment. This was because I feel like I've always thought that it's looking at things through the lens of a comedian. Alex has made me realize I'm a little bit more of a hater than I would like to. Like sometimes he's like, why can't you just like let them be into that thing?
Well, that is true. I will say you're never a hater when you like the second you like get a taste of anyone's like pure emotional investment in what they're doing. You're like, oh my God, love, do you shine your best light, chakras or whatever that not right. But like things I'm trying to think of what you don't like that sound.
No, it's awful.
You're a hater of just trends sometimes.
Right. So
despite if someone's identity is tied to that trend.
Right.
And then when you realize that, you're like, oh, now I feel bad.
Right. And so, yeah, like I'm never like on Twitter being like, let's all hate this person for fun, right?
Yeah,
like I'm never going to do that. But I just mean like I'm very quick to be like, lame.
To your credit, it's only like in private or to me. You don't like.
Right. But
so-
anyway, you've clearly got the ideas. We've gone on for 7 minutes about this. But the point being that I was like,
Well,
gosh.
the viewers got to know.
They do. There's a couple of things that like I do. I need to try to see, it's like don't knock it till you try it kind of thing, right? And so I discovered that like this is a segment that I think not only, and I encourage you to have this own segment in your life, which is like, dude, my bad. Zoom fitness classes. I'm on board.
What got you to change? First of all, why were you not on board? Why were you hating? And what showed you the light? And was there a specific class that you took that you're like, I love it?
Well, so I have a lot of friends that have been, some that are like fitness is their number one job. Some people that's like their side hustle, but like a huge part of like their wellness practice. And so I've like supported them by like, I'll be like, hey, catch so-and-so's show, or show. Whatever, same thing. Catch their class tonight. Like you can sign up here, whatever. So like if I haven't actually taken their classes, I at least wanted to support like what they're trying to do, and like I think that's
We're
great.
Hustling, they're hustling,
right? And so I've tried to support. And then my one dear friend Julian Elizabeth, shout out, who I love, and she has this amazing. She's an amazing yoga teacher, but her one class that I specifically love that I've been doing every Thursday, it's a yoga nidra class and kind of like a yin restorative yoga. So it's fantastic. So I mostly use it for like stretching and yoga of the mind. But with the endorphins that I've had from the last couple days, which I always know that I feel significantly better when I'm exercising. Like I know that's like that's like when we were being like telling adults like wash your hands. You know what I mean? Like I know I sound stupid.
No, it's not that. I think I honestly, first of all, I commend you for being like, I need to like admit something that was kind of obvious, but also it's not obvious. Like think about how many people just don't exercise at all. They're not active at all. And they don't realize how it's like, to me, it's like when I get up early in the morning and start my whole day, there's like 10 minutes of like, I feel like garbage because I'm tired. And then once I'm out, like doing stuff, I feel great.
Yeah. Well, it's more of like vigorous exercise where you're really like, listen, if you can only get to a walk that day or the only energy you have is for a walk, take a walk. But where it was like, oh, when I'm really getting my heart rate up for like at least 50 minutes, I'm a completely different person.
Yeah.
And it was just good for me to remember that because I've done so well with like eating where it's like, oh, when I'm nurturing my body, then internally I feel better. Like bonus if it, makes me like a little bit fitter or whatever, or you like look more attractive, whatever. But when I feel good and like I don't have like junk in my body and I have more energy, like I feel better. And so it was that thing of like, because our lives are so active in Los Angeles, my endorphins tend to be higher anyway because I'm on my feet all the time. So I'm not kind of hitting this like real significant lull, which I've been hitting. So I just realized where I was like, I have been such a hater because also, okay, so like here's the fun part about it, right? Why do people hate going to exercise classes, Alex?
Because they're afraid of being embarrassed in front of other people.
Because other people can see them. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
People don't like, especially people that feel like they're not in shape or not fit, don't like, literally will not go to classes because they're like, I don't want people to see me. So now you're telling me that I can take a Zoom class for a fraction of the cost from my own house and I can turn the video off so I can just act a fool. Why would everybody not want to do that?
Well, that is great for certain kinds of exercise class. Like I could never do like Zoom jujitsu. It just doesn't work that way. But it is great for a segment of.
Well, yeah, I don't think anybody's offering jujitsu classes on Zoom. Actually, that's not true. I'm sure they are. But to your point,
that would be so you can't. And the whole thing of jujitsu is you're sparring with someone. You're grappling.
Even like when you're teaching kids, it's not like karate where it's like kids can still learn. Like,
I mean, I guess technically you could, but. It's not like boxing where you can like hit a bag and like practice. Like you really have to have another person because jujitsu is all like grapples and chokes.
Yeah, that sounds like a.
Really, point is, listen. If you are hating on, honestly, to that point, I used to think Zoom comedy shows were dumb, and I guess the jury's still out a little bit because I haven't done any yet. But I haven't done any, but I am doing one next Saturday because it's for a good friend. He's like, hey man, we actually make it pretty fun if you want to do it. I'm like, you know what? I might as well try one. I was against Zoom stand-up, but I'm going to go for it. So to your point, yeah, you know what? At least try it before you hate on it.
I mean, dude, my bad. Go check out a Zoom class.
Well, this is a fun segment coming up. So we started this last week.
Well, accidentally.
Yeah.
You showed me something and I was like, oh, we should have a segment called Dad of the Week. And then I found this Dad of the Week and I'm so stoked. So take a look.
So, by the way, since we're on Spotify now, I have to do all like fair use music. So this is like free music that I got.
That music made me feel like I was in the nature store. Do you remember the nature store? Did you have one of those? What's happening with this cord?
I remember Rainforest Cafe.
Very different, but
Okay.
but yeah, the nature store was
nature
just
store?
literally, it was like a store in the mall when we had those.
like
R.I.P.
sharper image for nature.
Well, I mean, you could let me finish and I'll explain it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm used to it. He does this to me all the time. You know what I mean? I'll go to say something. He's like, no. And I'm like, let me finish the sentence. You know what I mean? Lots of yelling from different rooms in our house.
Okay, get to the nature store.
It was just a store that was filled with like nature stuff. So they had the rain sticks, which
yeah.
like who doesn't love that? And then they always had all sorts of different stones and crystals. So like Shocker, that I loved that at 7.
I guess I did. I must have been in one of those. That all sounds familiar. Shark's teeth.
Yes.
Remember like a shark tooth?
Yes. And then they
Dream catchers.
Yes. And then they always had just a bunch of CDs that were just of like nature sounds. Like you could get like an entire CD that was just like a babbling brook. You feel me?
Do you remember at like Target there would be like
A listening stand.
Yeah, but it was for like all the nature sounds.
Well, I know that they had them for more than just nature sounds. Because I remember listening to like Brandy.
No,
at like Best Buy.
I remember that too, but I remember that there used to, like, it was like a separate section.
Yeah.
And it was like a listening stand just for
we
nature
need to
sounds.
we need to bring that back. So many tired moms.
The listening stand?
Yeah. At Target. Could you imagine having 5 minutes to just go stand there and just like every time you would pass that person, you'd be like, thoughts and prayers. You know what I mean? Like you would just, while they're there, you just put a hand on them, you know, and then just keep walking with like your pinata and other crap you don't need.
That's funny. How many dream catchers did you have? I feel like you had
0.
Really?
Nope, lies. I did have 1.
I feel like that, like now that's like problematic, right? It would be like cultural appropriation or something.
Well,
Was that well, actually, let me take it back. I don't even know if dream catchers were actually a thing in like Native American Indian culture, or we just like made it up and like sold it to.
no, they're very much like a part of Native American culture.
Yeah.
Now, it's also like we've now just been like Native American culture, even though that's the same of being like, oh, you must like calling all Asian people the same.
Right.
Like Asia's ginormous and people have so many different like customs and like
Well,
the language in which they speak, everything. So it's the same thing for Native Americans.
Well, I worked. I'll make this story very quick because I want to get into dad of the week.
Okay.
But I learned something a while ago.
I totally forgot that's where we were.
Yeah, I'm staying on track. Don't worry.
That's all right.
But I worked for this lobbying firm as an intern when I was in college, and they represented a bunch of different groups, and one of them was the Shinnecock Native American tribe, or rather the Indian tribe. But they explained to me that the indigenous folks who were here before, Europeans arrived, they actually really don't want to be called Native American for the most part. They'll settle with Indian, but they really prefer like, no, I'm either Cherokee or Sioux or Navajo, or like, we're not.
Right. It's the same thing of being like, oh, are you Chinese? And it's like, no, I'm from the Philippines. Like at
the same time, like you just don't know. Like there has to be.
Well, sure, but that's also the Europeans' fault because we were like, just put them on the Trail of Tears and send them out. So,
yeah. Well, this is going to get sad if we don't change the subject.
I mean, I feel like we were already there.
Okay. Well,
all right, Dad of the Week.
Let's jump into Dad of the Week. Okay. So I don't know what this is. So Rachel pulled this up and or found it rather. So let's pull it up. I'm going to read it out loud for you guys. This is the Dad of the Week, a dad who did something great. So this says, after growing up without a father, a man made a helpful YouTube channel for kids who need support. Hero, who is this man? I love you. His name is Rob Kenny. And he himself didn't have an easy childhood, and he's got a video here about how to shave.
So the whole thing is called, scroll back up, I think the name of it is like Dad, How Do I? Or, Dad, How Do I? That's the name of his YouTube channel. It's called Dad, How Do I? So because this guy grew up, Rob, shout out Rob, without a dad, he literally made all these series of YouTube videos that are things that traditionally you would ask a man or your dad about.
Listen to this. Once he became a dad, Rob knew he needed to get creative when it came to helping those children growing up without a parent. Because of his experience over the last month, he's been making videos for kids. Dude, this is awesome. I will say this. The older I get and the more I walk through life, I become like acutely aware of how different my life would have. Like, you've got a great dad. I've got a great dad. Holy shit, are we lucky? Because you know what I mean?
I do.
So anyway, so that's great. Well,
I feel like you were about to say something very serious and then just abandoned it.
I did, because I want this to be a fun podcast. Sometimes we
gratitude is lame.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
I know what you're saying. No, but I loved that because I love Dad of the Week. I think dads need a shout out. And I thought that was so creative and cool. And not only him being a cool dad to his kids, but what a beautiful thing, to do, especially because we know with making YouTube videos, this stuff is work, y'all.
Dude.
And he's crushing the game.
Speaking of YouTube, if you want to subscribe to our YouTube,
feel free to do that. Skewed Orbit. Leave us a comment.
If we do Dad of the Week, should we do like Mom of the Month or?
Well, we don't have to do a dad every week.
No, I know, but we should do like a mom one too.
Yeah, we could celebrate moms.
So last week was the dad who built his daughter a graduation stage in her driveway to have a proper graduation ceremony because of, everything being canceled. And this guy, how many kids, jokes aside, that really does warm my heart because I just can't think about how hard I have had so little real hardship, and I just don't know how to talk about other people having it without being really uncomfortable. Like, the worst thing that's ever happened to me is my car got stolen once, and Geico paid me out, and it worked out fine.
But you tell that story all the time.
But here's the thing. Only when it comes up organically and people are genuinely curious about it.
Well, I don't know if they're curious as you're like, oh, you had a car once? One time I got my car stolen. Real tough thing. I'll tell you all about it.
I guess that and getting dumped a few times. What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you?
I don't know if I want to talk about that on air.
Okay, never mind.
The significantly worst thing that ever happened. You just said I want this podcast to be fun and then looked me dead in the eye and said, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you?
I'm trying to. Okay, well, that was Dad of the Week. What's this guy's name one more time? I want to see.
Robert Kenny.
Yeah, so Robert Kenny, and his YouTube channel is
Dad, How Do I?
Dad, How Do I?
Yep.
This is awesome.
All right, great. So our next segment, you guys love this one. This is super fun. I also brought this one to the table this week. This is Wellness or Whackness.
Okay, now this is actually really fun. So what we do, if you don't know, we find items on the internet that are attempting at least to be in the wellness category. We pull them up and we decide if they are wellness or whackness. Now, I do them sometimes. Rachel does them sometimes. And this one you found, I don't really know what this is. I haven't looked at it yet. But we're going to pull it up, and I have something on the computer so you guys watching live can see it too after I pull this up. So before I pull it up, I will say, I know that you're having a bridal shower or two coming up.
Yeah.
Is there a chance that you chose this because you're hoping that somebody might get this for you as a gift?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've looked up so many wellness or whackness things. I don't 100% remember which one I did for this week.
Okay.
So the dice are in the air.
All right, I'm going to pull it up for me, and then I'm going to show you guys here in a second on the live stream. Okay, this is the infrared sauna blanket version 3. What happened? Okay. All right. What the hell is an infrared sauna blanket? All right, let's look this up here. So here, let me show you guys what this looks like. So you have an idea. So the woman looks like she's in like a candy. It's kind of like a sleeping bag. At the bottom, it says "Get high naturally." That's debatable. Okay, that's what it says.
Do you want me to help you? You seem very overwhelmed by this.
Why?
Do you want me to tell you what it is?
Yeah, I'm running the tech, and
I know you're crushing it. Hey, you're crushing it.
All right, tag in.
You got your car stolen one time. You know what I mean? Okay, look here. So the company is called Higher Dose, and yeah, that's their whole thing of like get high naturally, right? You know, to each their own.
Okay.
Anyway, so what I do love, this is an infrared sauna blanket. Now the reason that I looked this up was because we keep talking about wanting to get a sauna for our house, right?
Correct. Yes. Which we absolutely. I mean, we don't have a house yet, but when we have our own house, having a sauna would be incredible.
Well, it's that we don't have a house. We don't have like a house. You know what I mean? We have an apartment.
That's what I meant. We live somewhere, but we
sure.
don't.
But we're not gonna install the Get High Naturally infrared sauna blanket. Could you imagine having people over for some sort of like thing? I don't know what. Just like people.
We build a sauna in our living room,
like people
in our apartment in Hollywood.
No, that's less weird than like moving around this giant blanket. Like that thing has to be heavy.
Maybe.
Here's what I know about them. Okay. So these are actually really great. So they're good for lymphatic drainage. And what they do.
What does that mean?
So your lymph nodes hold a lot of stressors. So a lot of times if you're going into a sauna or a steam room, it's not necessarily the same as if you go into like an infrared bed. So something about the infrarays or this like infrared technology is what creates like a secretion of toxins that are separate from just sweating, right?
This blanket has them in the fabric.
Yes. So there's a place. It's called. I was just gonna say the summer house. That's not it. What is it called? The sweat house.
Okay.
Crap. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, they have them all over Los Angeles. There's one on our street in Larchmont. And I would go there from time to time. And what you do is you would go there and they give you tea and orange slices. And you go and you lay in this bed for 50 minutes. And then you get out and it's like the most incredible, the sweat house. It's got to be that. I think.
That part, I believe that you feel great. But the description here, I'm a little skeptical because it says infrared sauna blankets detoxify the body, deliver fresh nutrients to muscles, and boost metabolic rates. So you burn calories like you're working out without working out. There's no way.
It is similar, but it's not necessarily, you're really only burning calories because your body is trying to keep itself regulated. Because you're putting yourself in such like a hot situation, your body is like working against. So you are like, that's why a lot of celebrities utilize these because they can drop weight really quick. Like this would be a thing that would be like perfect for like wrestlers.
Yeah, well, it's $500. So
the Shape House, that's what it is in California. It's called the Shape House. Anyway, I do want one of these.
I'd say it's wellness once removed.
Okay.
Like it's not total whack. It's okay. Let me put it this way.
If it works, you're into it. If it doesn't, it's whack.
I would be open to trying it if I could return it if I don't like it.
Okay, fair.
I don't know.
I mean, also the fact that at the bottom it says like "get high naturally" and it's like bright purple. You know, it's a little hard to get on board.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm shocked it's only $500.
Really?
Yeah, because it's about $50 per session to go to the Shape House.
I'm going to pull this up again so people watching can see. I'm just saying, like, imagine if you, like, let's say, you were single.
Also, that model looks like Piper Perbolo. Do you remember her? Mm-mm. Okay.
I'm just saying, like, imagine if, like, you didn't, like, your roommate or someone that you hadn't seen sleeping yet, you just walked in the room and they were in that, like, tucked in, right?
Or if they're like, hey, my cousin's going to stay with us for a couple days. Hope it's not a big deal. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, dude, somebody's staying at, like, an Airbnb. Like, you just pull out, like, you see your host in that. Okay. Yeah. We got it.
Anyway, that was that. I thought it was cool. I am really excited for this week because I know you've pulled some really fun stuff for us. So this is our OG segment. This is Rachel Learns the News. Still my favorite needle drop that we have.
Sound effect? I know.
Yep.
What's the classic?
I know.
It's
great.
So this segment, if you don't know, I find this is how this podcast really started, is that I was just finding all this like crazy news stuff. And Rachel was like, why don't you go talk about this on your podcast alone, away from me, so I don't have to hear about it anymore. And then I thought, that's great. However, sometimes I want to share it with you. So what we do now is like contain it to 3 stories a week and kind of like the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm doing the good, the silly, and the weird, or the good, the wacky, whatever. So this week we've got the good, maybe the bad, but more just like this is how life is now, and the ridiculous, okay? Mm-hmm. So the good, this is something that directly affects our life as professional entertainers and people who are going to be on movie sets and TV sets. And this is very interesting here, Rachel. So why don't you read this headline for us?
Germ zapping robots. How Hollywood might kill corona fears on set.
So
this already feels like a leap.
Okay, so check this out.
Sources say CBS Blue Bloods has shown serious interest in the $125,000 machine, which are already used in hospitals around the globe.
So I looked into these are real. So ultraviolet light apparently is great at like super, super high frequency UV light can kill a lot of microscopic bacteria and germs and whatnot. So they use them in hospitals. So now they're thinking of bringing them onto sets. So it really wouldn't help prevent like person to person COVID stuff, but
that's such a waste of everyone's money. That's
you don't dig it.
No, that's the people with the wands outside of like, the baseball field. Because right here it says in a lab-certified disinfecting robot that uses pulses of ultraviolet UV. What do you think people... Who reads ultraviolet and doesn't know that's UV? And why? All right, I'll let it go.
Why are you?
I'm worked up. Of ultraviolet light to kill SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19.
Well, the interesting thing here is because there's so many unions in Hollywood, the unions are like, well, we don't want to let some random person not in a union come on set and do this. We want our people to do it. And the people who run these machines are like, that's great, but that would be like if we were like, hey, we want to do the lighting now. Like you have to go and get training. So now there's kind of a debate on if they're going to train people on like who work in production unions on how to use these. Because they want to save the jobs.
I'm just more shocked that many people are watching Blue Bloods, that A, it's still on
Tom
the
Selleck's
air,
on it.
and B, that they're like, we got to keep this show going.
There's so many bad shows. I mean, I've never seen it. It could be great, but it's on CBS. So
If it was great, we would have seen it.
well, we don't have cable.
If it was great, we would have seen it.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay. So you think this is dumb?
And if it was great,
we would have seen it.
wouldn't have been on cable.
Oh, right. Okay. That's not totally
Sorry,
true.
don't at me.
No, Parks and Rec was on cable. That was great. The Office was on
Okay,
cable.
that's true. That's true.
But I don't think.
But those were also prior to these streaming platforms kind of going above and beyond.
Yeah, that's fair. Dave is on cable. It's on FXX.
That's true.
FXX. It doesn't matter.
I don't know. FFX sounds like a rapper name.
Okay, well, that's enough on this story. So that was, I thought, was the good. I guess you're not. I was like, hey, they're making sets cleaner.
I mean,
for
I
us.
feel like interesting, but I just feel like we're trying. I feel like we're doing a lot of reaching in the name of safety.
Yeah.
Because people need like guarantees in a thing that has no guarantee. And so to me, I just feel like it's very, I think it's noble for the people that are genuinely working towards finding solutions.
Sure.
But I think we also need to be cognitive of the fact that we still have so many unknowns, even once we are, as we're slowly going into phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, or, wherever you're located, as things evolve, we still don't really know anything.
Yeah, I get that.
And so seeing things like that just feel like such a giant leap to be like, see, we're safe. We did it the right way. It's safe now. Everybody can come back. It's
but at least they're trying.
That's what I said that. I
Yeah,
said it's noble.
yeah. But you're right.
But I
I get
also want to just remind people a little bit of the best things that you can do are if you're in a position where you feel comfortable socializing with social distance, of doing it with people that you have a circle of trust with. And when you go out, wear a mask, wash your hands.
And most importantly,
6 feet, that's what social distance means. Back up and practice social distancing. Mask up, cause I don't want you.
okay, you get the idea, guys.
I don't want your germs on me.
Back up 6 feet. I don't remember. Anyway, look up the song. It's great. There's a real music video too, not just the one from the press conference. I Googled it. There's like a produced music video.
Okay, I'm for sure watching that like now. Hi, Luann.
Oh, hey, Luann, what's up? Okay, so that was what I thought was the good, but I guess you're like, whatever. So this next story we're going to do, I know you're going to have a lot of opinions on it, but it's important. It's important to talk about. It's important.
Okay.
It's not just like, oh, something bad happened. This is like, I think we talk about this a lot in our house, and you get worked up, and we have similar ideas, but they differ a bit.
Okay, so do we have to we got to put time on the clock? Oh yeah, we still have 2 things. Okay, all right. I'm going to do this nice, quick, and dirty.
What's it say?
American billionaires got 434 billion richer during the pandemic. Yeah, I mean, shocker. U.S. billionaires saw their fortunes soar by more than $434 billion during the nation's lockdown between mid-March and mid-May, according to the new report. Amazon's Jeff Bezos and Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg had the biggest gains. Bezos, we're live streaming on Facebook right now. Thanks, Zuckerberg. Bezos added $34.6 billion to his wealth, and Zuckerberg picked up $25 billion.
No, I know.
So that's like that feels like a candy necklace. So you know what I mean?
So it's hard to really fathom how much money that is, right?
For them too. That means nothing. That's stocks. That's.
And I've been trying to like wrap my head around like how much is that really? So I figured like this is something I like looked up and I figured out how to kind of conceptualize what $1 billion is. What $1 billion is. Ready? If you had $1 billion and you spent $1,000 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It's not that money's not getting interest or anything. It's just a pile of cash sitting somewhere, right? So if you spent $1,000 an hour, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, how long do you think it would take you to spend $1 billion?
I don't know.
114 years.
Wow.
That is how much $1 billion is. Bezos made $34.6 billion. Now, obviously,
and he just keeps bragging that he donated 100 million.
Right. So that's
like, to me here. You know what? Because I don't want to get into politics of it because it's literally going to make me livid. Let me say this.
Yeah.
If you are in the likes of these billionaires and you are only donating what becomes a Thank you, Trudy. She said, could you guys wear masks so my phones don't get a virus?
Yeah, and just so you guys know, if anyone is listening right now on the recorded, every Monday night you can chime in with comments. We love commenting with you guys and bantering back and forth with the viewers, so thank you so much.
I know. Yes, Luann, I know. It's absolutely ridiculous.
So listen, I agree with you that nobody needs that much money. It is absolutely insane. The question is, how do you go about I don't think the question is how do you make them give it to charity? Because when people are, I don't care how rich you are, poor you are, when people feel like they're forced to do something, they're going to fight against it. How do you motivate them? And you say, oh, well, they should just do it because they're so fucking rich. I agree with you, but I'm just thinking.
I didn't say that.
But I'm saying many people would.
Okay.
What I'm saying. I didn't mean to put words in your mouth. But I'm just saying, of course, I don't think anyone needs that much money. That's absolutely absurd. But I'm just trying to figure out what's the way, how can we make it where these billionaires of the world are uber motivated to give away as much of it as possible? I don't know what the answer is, but I don't think like tax them more because they always find a way out of it.
Well, that's right. That's why I'm not going to speak on this subject because I'm going to get too worked up. So I'm going to, no. I'm saying I don't want to.
Okay,
I actively do not want to.
I understand. All right.
But here is what I will say, because this is both a comment and also like cheeky and fun. Mark, it's Rachel LaForce, and
we're on your platform right now.
Mark, I know that when people speak directly to you, it gets flagged. And I want you to know from me, when you are donating what is literally a drop in the bucket of your money, don't brag about it. Because then you look like a bigger arsehole. Do you understand? Where it was like, there was like some billionaire and it came out, it was like, well, I donated blah, 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 and I'm encouraging all other billionaires to give to the peasants. That's not what they said, but that was basically what it was.
Sure, yeah.
Because it's like, okay, well, now when we actually break it down, there was like some video that was going around on the internet, and it was a cup with green dye in it, and it was like, this is the amount of wealth that Mark Zuckerberg or like Jeff Bezos have acquired.
Sure, yeah.
And then they took, like a little pipe, filled it up, and then put a drop of it in a cup next to it and said, and that is how much they've donated.
Yeah.
Because, to you and me, as mere, peasants, $100 million is a lot of money.
I agree.
And I also don't think that you're right. Just because you have money, you should have to donate it. And again, when we hear numbers like that, that's stocks in flux. That's this, that's not like cash in the bank.
Yeah. Right.
That's what, and also, does it matter at this point?
It's basically fake money.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's the other thing to remember. But one, I do think we need to change tax on the rich, number one. And you are right. They will find another way to put their money, because it's the same way of like, when it's like, well, how are we going to keep them out? And it's like, you're not, because anytime you create a system, other people will figure out a way around that system. So it's not our job as Americans to go around and make sure that they're not cheating the system. They are cheating the system. But it is our responsibility to, if you are going to ask a working class family where there's two parents and they work full time, and you're asking them to tax 25% of their income, and after that they can barely make everything do. Those people that are really working hard and keeping the economy propped up, they're keeping people like you, Mark Zuckerberg, and you, Jeff Bezos, like living in your, piles of money out of respect for those people alone. And for me, like what the precipice of like, this country is built on, like, you know what I mean? Because it's like, at least like make it even across the board of like everybody should be taxed based off of their income. And then you can run around and cheat and do whatever you want to do. At least you can be like, well, I don't know. We're all paying out taxes.
Well, the other complicated part of it, and again,
it's all complicated.
But I'm going to preface by saying, like, I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure, like, that's not income that they're getting taxed on. That's like capital gains, because it's like they're
right, again, which that's the other problem, because it's like, how do you tax that? Regardless of that type of billionaires, people that are making the millionaires in this country in the top 1% are not being held accountable financially in the way that the rest of the country is. And that is a problem. I don't care if it's a complicated problem. I don't care if it's like, how do we do it? It's too difficult. I don't care. There's a way to do it. You want to know how I know that? Because we put a man in the moon in the 60s.
Yeah, a man on the moon.
Sure. I can, wait, maybe we did. Jury's still out. I can open my phone and see a street in China. If we have figured out how to do that,
I agree.
we can absolutely figure out how to tax people appropriately.
Well, the thing, when, I always say I'm like a conspiracy theorist once
adjacent.
Adjacent. I'm not quite there, but I like to dip my toe in the pool a bit. And I got to say, when I saw this, and I thought, okay, I saw that, Zuckerberg, how much did he make again? I want to get the exact number here.
Zuckerberg pulled in about $25 billion.
$25 billion. All right. So that's just like insane, like truly insane amounts of money. Facebook.
Especially because, like, for so much money.
Yeah. And listen,
not very well spoken, And I'll tell you what, that's embarrassing.
But here, let me finish this point, Ro.
Okay.
So I'm sure, I have no doubt in my mind that COVID-19 is a real serious threat to our safety. But it is kind of interesting that Mark Zuckerberg is made $25 billion in 2 months. And all of the information that is even questionable about, well, COVID's not as serious as we thought, pulled immediately from Facebook. Like, the core, I'm not saying that Zuckerberg and Facebook are actively trying to suppress the truth around COVID. I don't know. I have no reason to believe that necessarily. But it's interesting that the longer we stay in this new normal, they make more money.
Well, I will say this for sure. I think the number one thing is, it's like, never miss out on, what is that? Never miss out on an opportunity of a tragedy, or what is it?
Yeah, never waste a good tragedy, or there's something where it's
don't let chaos go to waste, or something.
Don't let an opportunity from a tragedy go to waste.
Yeah, basically,
phrase. If you know the phrase, let us know.
Yeah, basically take advantage of people. That is essentially what the phrase
9/11,
is.
Perfect example.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, where it's like the injustices, where it's like, where you're always like, yeah, well, what do we do? Well, you and I and most of our friends that are watching, we can't do much. But what we can do, and I always say this, is like, be aware of where your money is going, because money is power. Like, I have been very aware of, like, if there's something that I can get that's not like something that I would normally go to Amazon to get, is there another place that I can get it? Is there another, like, can I get it at a small business, even if it takes a little bit longer? Like, your money is important, and you work really hard for your money, and the government has no problem taxing you and taking it from you. Be smart about it. Make it a choice in the same way of, like, what am I going to put in my body to give me more energy? It's like, do the same thing. It's your money. You work really hard for it. Don't just give it away.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, I think we did it on that story.
Okay.
We're ending with something fun, though.
Okay.
All right, because I know you're bummed out.
I know.
But I thought it was important to bring up. Just honestly, when I saw that, I was like, more people need to realize, A, how much money they got, and then I try to conceptualize how much, just a little fraction of how much that really is. So.
Well, and it's also like, I mean, and to us as well, of like, well, anyway, yeah, let's move on, because I'm going to go on another tangent.
Okay. All right. So listen, I know a lot of restaurants are trying to figure out ways to make it safe to dine out. Okay. This is silly. This is a fun one. Okay. So we saw last week about the restaurant in Virginia that's doing mannequins.
I cannot wait to go.
Okay. So I found, this is kind of a 2-article story, but same sort of thing, right?
Okay.
So these are 2 restaurants I found that are kind of going the extra mile for social distancing. All right. So here is the first one.
Stop.
Okay, read it.
Burger King debuts social distance crowns in Germany as restaurant tests quirky ways to keep customers apart.
All right,
See,
so I got
that
this.
is why I still believe in the human race. That is amazing, because somebody in their corporate job, and everybody's trying to hold on to their jobs right now. They're like, okay, all right, listen, guys, we got to get everybody back at our restaurants. We got to get dining in. What are we going to do? And someone in the back goes, I have an ideas. And then
That's your German accent.
and then just stands up. He's like, "What we make big crowns?" And then someone.
It's a terrible German accent.
That's not the point. The
Okay.
point is that Sven. That's not a German name. What's a
No,
German
Hans.
name? Hans. Hello. This is now bordering on like offensive.
Crowns.
We makes the crowns, but makes very big sombrero crowns.
So here's what I think.
I want one.
Yeah. So I hope.
That is amazing.
What would Tracy say in one of those?
I would never leave.
Yeah.
I oh my gosh. I die for that. I die. That's
Fun, right? So here's my thing. I mean, listen, it's good to kind of.
I mean, also, what a great way to practice your balance, you know?
But my thing is, I think it serves two purposes, right? Like one, it's like, oh, it actually does raise awareness about social distancing, but also from a marketing standpoint, anything that's going to get on Instagram and Facebook, that's what everybody's going for.
Right. Well, but again, it's like never miss an opportunity to take advantage of a crisis or whatever
I haven't eaten Burger King in 20 years probably.
But you would go back for that.
I go back for the Crown. We got to do Crown
Dude, they
photos.
have chicken fries.
Oh, yeah. Actually,
They're so bad for you, but so good.
wow, now that you said that, I have a distinct memory. When I was 18 years old, one of my buddies was hanging out with me, and like that's when chicken fries came out. We went to get them. Like I vividly remember getting chicken
They're
fries.
delightful.
Yeah. Okay.
They're so good. That's amazing.
So that was pretty funny, but to an even more, you want to talk social distancing. This is it. I mean, this is the creme de la creme of social distancing. Check this out.
A one-person restaurant is opening in the middle of a field in Sweden, delivering food from a rope out of the kitchen window.
So
That feels, honestly, I'm surprised that's not happening in LA. Because I could see some celebrity
Like
chef
Shia
being like,
LaBeouf or something, yeah.
okay, here's what we're going to do. It's going to be amazing and it's going to be a pop-up and people are going to love it. Okay, we're going to put one table in the middle of like a field, but like not like a real field. Like we're going to like build a field, do you know what I mean? And then we're just going to make this like super tall tower, like kind of like Rapunzel, you know what I mean? And then we're just going to like put food in like a basket, cute, right? And then like they're going to be there and like ding a bell and then just like cute, we'll swing it down. You know what I mean?
well, first of all, great impression of an LA like influencer chef.
Thank you.
I'm curious why it's only for one. You know, like
Nobody's eating at that restaurant. Get real.
no, I went on their website. The reservations are booked up for a little bit. Although that could be a ploy to make it seem like it's popular.
I mean, the one thing that I love is I hope moms are the ones that have filled up those reservations. Like if anybody needs a table for one in the middle of a field where they don't even have to talk to a waiter, it's a tired mom.
And I love it how
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Sit them there. They can ring a bell. Food just shows up. They can sit there.
That was your thing, Tired Moms 2020.
Yeah, I'm still on board, man.
But it's
I'm preparing for my people.
I just love it how the food comes on a rope in a basket. Like
That's great.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was the news this week.
I love it. I love it so much. So we've got two more quick things here. Again, if you guys are just joining us, this is House Rules Pod. I'm Rachel LaForce.
I'm Alex Gatlin.
We are comedians. We are engaged. This is our podcast. If you listen to podcasts, you can listen to ours. Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
We record live here on Mondays, 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern, every single week without fail. It's just something we do for fun. You can join us, comment, all that good stuff. You can catch it on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, and YouTube. And then we go back, we will edit this up, we'll zhuzh it, we'll make it look nice. We'll put that out on the YouTubes, and we cut it into clips and make it super fun.
I like how you transition into like a Long Island mom or something.
Halfway, it was too long, too much information. Do you know what I mean?
So what's next, Rach?
Okay, here we go. This is everybody's favorite segment. This is fun, nice and quick. This is, should we buy this for our house?
You like this song?
That song feels like it would have been in like a Nancy Meyers movie or
I
something
don't know
when
who
like
that is.
Julia Roberts. I am saddened right
What
now.
are some-
She's made all of the best romantic comedies. You've Got Mail.
Haven't seen it. What else?
We're gonna talk.
Okay.
I've
Seen The Notebook.
Okay, well, that's Nicholas Sparks, also a fantastic writer. Anyway, let's stay focused. Okay, so this is, should we buy this for our house?
So tell everybody what the segment is.
So this is when Alex or I find things that are like goofy or silly or fun, and we decide if we should buy them for our house. It's literally that simple. That's what we've done. As always, you guys can send us Skewed Orbit at Gmail, or is it Skewed Orbit Productions?
It's Skewed Orbit Productions. If you're listening, you know us. At Alex Gatlin, at Rachel.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Find us and send us your things of should we buy this?
Or House Rules Pod on Instagram.
There we go. Okay, should we buy this for our house?
Okay, so
There's
I don't
just
know
one
what this
item.
is.
That's not it. Don't click on that.
I know. Have some faith.
Okay.
Let me run.
I'm sorry.
God damn it. I mean, the mouse went 1 inch over the thing to click, and you're like, no, you're going to ruin it all. I've done all of this. I set this up every week perfectly. I know that we had some audio for a second that was messed up. I fixed it.
This is what it's like driving in the car with us.
It is awful. Okay. Anyway, I love you. We're still getting married.
Okay, good.
Okay. All right. So I don't know what this is.
Well, maybe. We don't know. It's a pandemic.
Okay.
All
Can
right.
I just do the bit, or the segment, rather?
You're crushing the bit. All right, item 1.
So I don't know what this is. We got one item this week. Should we buy this for the house? I'm going to pull it up. Rachel found it. And this is Allwood's Salvala. Oh, it's a studio. It's like a build-it-yourself cabin house for your backyard. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah. Dude, I'm so into this. Hold on. I actually, I did copy something so you guys can see it. So here you go. This is what it looks like. I'm super into this because I have been, one of the Instagram accounts I follow is shipping container houses. So people take old shipping containers and do this. It's kind of the same thing. Make it like a home office or a home gym. That'd be pretty cool, right? Or a little half-half. But, well, I'm not down. It's almost $8,000. So I don't know that part if I'm into it.
I mean, $8,000, we would just buy that and that would be our house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's kind of cool. So let's see here.
But obviously, like, these are for people with a very large disposable income. But I thought it was cool, or people with kids, or like if you don't have as much of a backyard space and you want to have something that's multi-purpose, actually $8,000 is like a pretty good deal. So it shows up and you build it. I mean, I don't know if this is one of those IKEA things where it's like, it's easy to build. You know what I mean? Like there's angry people all over that were like, they told us we could make it ourselves.
I don't think we would be good at building it. Your dad would probably crush it.
Well, don't speak for me, Kimosabi. I'm actually pretty handy.
Okay. What I will say, though, if we ever get a big backyard, this is awesome.
When we get a big backyard.
Sorry, yes, manifest your dreams, blah, blah, blah.
All right, fine. Well, then I have a backyard. You can't come in it.
Okay. My point is, when we have a backyard, it would be very cool to have a space like this. You can go there, do yoga and meditate or whatever. I'll probably just go there and do like push-ups or something. But it would be awesome to... I'm saying when I want to like get out stress away from the family.
Okay.
What's...
I have so many thoughts.
Maybe like smoke weed and kick up my feet and relax, or just it's nice to have a space that's like away from the house. That would be. I'm agreeing with you. We should get it, but
Okay.
I don't know. I want to before we commit to it. I want to meet someone who has one and make sure that it's really worth it.
Well, you know what? I think that's just fun because I want to be able to meet them too. That is so funny to me. The idea of being like, could we find this person is so funny to me. It is absolutely hilarious.
I'm just checking the comments here.
I know. I love this.
Oh, I love how our listeners are talking to each other.
I love it. Listen, we're all about community. You know what I
love you
mean?
guys.
Any way that
Yeah.
we can do it. So this is our very last segment, and we're going to get out of here. This is what we're watching.
Try to add a little bit of mellow music for you.
That's fun.
You like that song?
I do. So do you want to tell everybody what happened this week? What I was watching?
So, being in quarantine, we got a lot of free time at night to unwind. We've been watching a bunch of shows, a bunch of movies, and lately I just haven't really. I've watched all the stuff I wanted to get through, so I kind of just hand it over to Rachel. I'm like, babe, put on whatever you want. You take over. I'm happy to just kind of in the background watch whatever you're into, and. Oh boy, did we go on, or not really me. She went on an emotional roller coaster watching Becoming on Netflix, the Michelle Obama documentary. Now, I will say, as someone who had no stake in the game, I like Michelle fine. I didn't really know a ton about her other than that she was the first lady. Seemed pretty eloquent. Eloquent, right?
Eloquence, right?
Yeah.
Which is a really funny word to stumble over.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic. But I thought she was great, but I didn't know a lot about her. But I thought, seemed like she did her job wonderfully and was a great first lady, rather. And I'm just going to play for you some audio that I got of Rachel while she was watching the documentary.
Don't be crying, I'm Michelle Obama if I won. Race and class he couldn't get into
I just think
colleges.
it's so nice. She's just like,
Didn't have the money, the
all she wants to do is
resources.
help people.
But imagine walking around with all this ability and the world telling you no.
So I don't know if you could totally make that out, but Rachel,
It sounds like nonsense, which it was, but I was so overwhelmed by this documentary, and I was am a very big fan. She's not passed. A very big fan of Michelle Obama. I've not read her book, and a lot of people were talking about the documentary. So I went to, thanks, Trudy. Yeah, well, like mother, like daughter. And so anyway, I had been recommended this documentary, and we put it on. And so it's cataloging the book tour for Michelle Obama. So she wrote this book, Becoming, and it was all about her life prior to the White House and, you know, what that's like and being under scrutiny 24 hours a day for 8 years.
Dude,
what the need for perfection is. And
that was the most interesting part to me. And I was saying before how, like, yeah, I like her fine, but I had no real investment in the documentary. It was a great documentary. Like, it was one of those things where you were watching it and I slowly got more and more into it.
It was incredibly well done.
As the documentary, like, it was shot wonderfully. And I really have a new respect for her. Not that I didn't before, but I just didn't really have an opinion.
Well, it was just really great where, you know, it talked all about, obviously, like, she is a black woman from the south side of Chicago, and, you know, people are telling her that she couldn't do things. And, like, you know, it's that thing that a lot of people in America like to say, of, like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, which I don't know.
She literally did it.
I don't know entirely how I feel about that cliche. But with that being said, that's exactly what she did. And she believed in herself, and she talked all about it. It was because, you know, she had a family that, even though parts of America didn't want to see her or validate her because she was a young black woman, her parents always made sure that they instilled in her that she is seen and she is powerful and she can do whatever she wants. And so she did. And, you know, now she is completely, and when she was in the White House, but it's like now is very much dedicated to making sure she's encouraging certainly all voices, but definitely, you know, black and brown voices, and visiting these neighborhoods and encouraging people to stay in school and spreading, you know, I am so overwhelmed by people who just want to do good. And regardless of whatever, you know, whoever's watching this, their political affiliate, the innate want of somebody to do good and just share that people are valuable and that they matter that's all we could do.
Well,
I feel like that's all we can do.
I'll tell you this, what I took away from it.
And I cried at least 3 or 4 times.
No, you cried the whole time. It was beautiful. When she was going around to all those, you know, young women, anyone, but a lot of young women of color, and explain to them, like, hey, just because someone out there might have told you can't do X, Y, or Z, that doesn't mean shit. Like, she didn't say it. She said it much more elegantly, right? But I was like, yeah, man, like, my whole life, like, my parents supported me emotionally, and most of my teachers were like, yeah, you're going to do great, kid. Just keep working hard. So, like, I had all that going for me, and I was like, yeah, man, how hard would it have been if I didn't have people kind of rooting for me from day one? So it was nice to see someone at that level of influence and power to be like, hey, I did it, and people didn't believe in me, and I proved them wrong, so you can do the same. Well,
because it's like, I was thinking about this today on our bike ride, and I was like, you know, the best thing that we really can do is, like, lead by example of whatever that is. Like, I feel like right now, you know, and as we've seen over the last couple of years, where it's like everybody's just like yelling. It feels like everyone is yelling. And I often feel bad because I'm like, you know, although I don't have as big of a platform as I'm working towards growing, the people that I do get to interact with and the people that watch this or the people that, you know, listen, it's like, it is important. Those people matter too. And even though sometimes I'm like, oh, it's not 1 million yet. It's like, okay, but it doesn't matter how many it is.
You gotta start
like,
somewhere.
You got to start. Well, not even that, but it's like that everybody matters. Everybody that chooses to spend their time and with you or watching you, and investing is important, and being able to, there's no need to be like, this is right and this is wrong and I think this, and like, sure, using your voice and sharing your ideas is important, but I think the best thing that we can do is like just lead by example.
I think that's great.
And how I really feel like everything we need to know we learn in kindergarten.
It's a book, I think. That would make sense. I'm almost positive there's a book that's called that.
Okay. Well, yeah, that would make sense.
We'll
Like,
look into
wash
that.
your hands, the golden rule.
We're gonna look into that and get back to you guys next week. Well, guys, this has been House Rules. Oh,
This was fun.
Last thing, History 101 on Netflix. We don't have time to talk about it yet.
Oh, yeah, but so good.
We'll do that next week. It is awesome. If you have Netflix, History 101, so good.
So good.
But,
we've got a lot of fun stuff this week. As always, send us your questions, your thoughts. Keep reviewing our YouTube and
Instagram, Apple Podcasts.
there we go, podcasts,
Yeah.
all that good stuff. If you review
Spotify.
it, take a snapshot, send it to us. We'll give you a shout out. I think that's it for me.
guys-
Keep shining your light. Lead by example. Make somebody feel good about themselves. You are seen, and we see you, and we love you, and we're so glad that you spend time with us.
We'll see you next week, guys. Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Bye.